Hello, friend. So I just wanted to make a little video, share a little message with you. Something that I've kind of gleaned in the last month and a half since, I don't know, just really spending some quality time, giving myself what I want, what I need, and that is to not worry about what other people are doing, ever, at all. You don't have to control anyone else. You only have control over yourself, and you have more power within your own being than you can ever hope to change anyone or anything on the outside. It's all coming from you anyways. Everything in this world. And the sooner that you get the hang of it and start just going within every single time, instead of getting tangled up and caught up in an outside of you drama, you will see how easy it is to change your outer world by changing what you're doing inside of yourself. It's easy to forget it. Oh my God, I do it all the time. Well, I shouldn't say all the time. Maybe that's something I used to do now. I'm not doing it like I used to. So we get into patterns, and then we start building a narrative about who we are around that. And we don't have to do that, really. So I'm learning so much about what I want and what I want to give to myself. And what I want for myself is a healthy relationship with my inner being, because I want that reflected back to me in the outer world. And that's, I guess what we're all here doing in one way or another is we're having these relationships with people and ourselves, and we're having reactions or responses to situations and people outside of ourselves because are directly related to the relationship that we have with ourselves. And so it just makes sense to recognize the validity of changing the relationship that you have with yourself is the only change that matters. It's the only change that will bring you the experiences that you want in the outer world. And the more I go within and I do that, the better. And sometimes I forget, and sometimes I panic. And sometimes I feel completely ashamed and embarrassed that I'm not doing the one thing that I could be doing, because in the moment I have abandoned myself. I have forgotten that I am the operant power, that I am the one who can give myself exactly what I want, exactly what it is that I need from myself. And then when I do that, the outer world reflects that back to me. I get distracted, like most people, when the outer world is reflecting back to me anything unwanted, any resistance. I feel like most people, I've gotten very distracted by that experience. But I'm also in a space where I can sit with myself and get really clear about it. So if like a radio station that's not quite coming into tune and it's real fuzzy and I can't make out, like I know there's a song or something on it that I want to hear, but I just can't get it to tune in. I think that's what we experience when we're distracting ourselves with resistance, and then the drama of the outer world kind of unfolds and captivates us. And captive is the key word there. We become captive to the distractions of the outer world. And the thing is that it's an illusion. We don't have to be held captive to resistance. And if we are, it's okay. We all do it. And it can feel all the feels and be really like full of heavy, intense stuff, and we can lose ourselves in it, and that is pain and suffering when that happens. And we can, in times where we are abandoning ourselves, we can feel frantic, like a person who's out at sea without a life raft. It can feel like you're going to drown. You can feel that way with emotions. And I'm just so grateful that I can take a step back and I can see where or how or where I'm abandoning myself, and I can surrender the resistance of it all, the drama, the narrative around it. And it's so easy to say it after the fact, It's really incredibly challenging, to say the least, when you're right in the thick of it, in the middle of it. And that's not, that can be, I can laugh about it, but in the middle of it, I don't always feel like laughing. But I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at just letting go and being receptive to what I want and need, and letting go of the resistance that I'm perceiving. Because ultimately I know that it's not about what I'm perceiving outside of myself that's being mirrored back to me. It's what am I giving to myself? that's being mirrored back to me. That's where I'm becoming more aware and more clear about I'm the only one that can change that. It's kind of easy to feel lost and hopeless at times with it all. But when I gain my moments of clarity and I can then be like, well, I kind of did that. I did a lot of that. It's so easy to say, oh, everything outside of myself. I had nothing to do with that. It's like, I am at the mercy of what is outside of myself. That's not true. I just can't be in that mindset anymore because I've done too much within my own self. I've gleaned too much clarity, and I've had experiences that have shown me over and over and over again that I'm getting exactly what I'm giving to myself. It's being reflected back to me, and it just keeps getting stronger and clearer. And where does that lead? I'm assuming it leads to me being 100% accountable for what I'm experiencing in my life, or how I'm choosing to respond in my life, but also to have faith and courage to stand up for myself and be like completely willing to go the distance, to do the work, whatever that work is. To me, it's just being, like opening my eyes and being aware of what I'm doing. And when the resistance rises up, it is reflected back to me instead of getting carried away in the emotional tide. The tide of emotions that come in and out, in and out, they can be really strong. And you can get carried away, for sure. It's the same thing, metaphorically speaking. And it has just the same kind of repercussions. It can be devastating. It can pull you under. And you can drown. You can drown in that emotional tide pool, So what I'm finding is that there are a lot of subtle indicators and clues and that come up and let you know. They let me know, oh, I'm feeling something that's really strong, but am I going to have a reaction that is filled with resistance, or am I going to just be observant and be aware of what is being reflected back to me, and then stand staunchly in my truth, in the beingness of me? Because that's really, when we say you can only change yourself, well, what are you giving to yourself? Are you giving to yourself a lot of resistance, or are you in a state of receptivity to the beauty and to the grace and to the power that has been bestowed to you. I mean, think about it. We get a chance to wake up and breathe and experience this physical existence. And it's amazing. There's nothing more wondrous than having the ability to participate and experience fully this human story. It's quite wonderful. And it is full. It is that you can say whatever you want about human beings, but it is jam-packed, full of beauty and joy and unspeakable joys. I mean, wondrous things. I suppose as well you can go in the opposite direction, but those are all things under the label of resistance, and they have their place, but it's usually all comes with pain and suffering. And I've had plenty of that, and I think that I can do better. Can do better. So anyways, I don't know. I don't want to ramble. So I just wanted to share some of what I've been working on, giving to myself, and finding my way. And just continuing to let my heart be, excuse me, to let my heart be as open and receptive as it can be, because that, to me, that's where all the joy and all the sweetness is, and it's what matters the most to me in this life. It's the sweetness of life, the beauty of life, and I accept that it's not all beauty. It's not, not everything feels sweet, and not everything feels beautiful, but there's a place for it. And I don't have to be in a state of resistance about any of it, including resistance. So there's that. And I've got some very exciting things that are happening that I want to talk about with you more. But right now I'm just I'm laying low, and I'm tending to my precious heart and giving myself what I want and need, so that I can have the experiences that I want reflected back to me. And I guess sometimes we just need a little space to do that. Till we talk again, friend. Much love.